Dear students, welcome. Today our topic of deliberation is SAARC and regional development. In this lecture, you will learn about what is regional development, what is the scope of the development at regional level, what role has been played by the SAARC so far in the regional development of South Asia. Regional development. In order to understand the meaning of regional development, it would be pertinent to know the meaning of development. Development as a concept has been associated with diverse meanings, interpretations, and theories from various scholars. Development is defined as an evolutionary process in which the human capacity increases in terms of initiating new structures, coping with problems, adapting to continuous change, and striving purposefully and creatively to attain new goals. According to Rees, development is understood as a social condition within a nation in which the needs of its population are satisfied by the rational and sustainable use of natural resources and systems. Todaro and Smith also define development as a multidimensional process that involves major changes in social structures and attitudes and institutions, as well as economic growth, reduction of inequality, and eradication of absolute poverty. Recognition of these various development ingredients has made it increasingly clear that there is more human development than economic development. Real human development concerns more intangible factors that relate to the quality of change in people's lives, as well as to the quantity of change. This view that human development is more complex than economics alone is clearly expressed by John Clark in his 1991 book Democratizing Development. He says, development is not a commodity to be weighed or measured by GNP statistics. It is a process of change that enables people to take charge of their own destinies and realize their full potential. It requires building up in people the confidence, skills, assets, and freedoms necessary to achieve this goal. Thus, to accommodate the diversity of meanings and interpretations of development, we can say development is a process that creates growth, progress, positive change, or the addition of physical, economic, environmental, social, and demographic components. The purpose of development is a rise in the level and quality of life of the population and the creation or expansion of local, regional income and employment opportunities without damaging the resources of the environment. Development is visible and useful, not necessarily immediately, and includes an aspect of quality change and the creation of conditions for a continuation of that change. How can we measure the development? The fact that development is an issue of every society and that it is as much about human rights, the environment, and relationships as it is about economics, makes it an increasingly complex phenomena to measure. The last few years have seen an enormous effort to move beyond traditional economic indicators of production, income, consumption, debt, etc., epitomized by the World Bank's World Development Indicators, to a new broad range of indicators which capture the personal, social, cultural, and environmental dimensions of development. Of this new generation of development indicators, the World Bank's program of social indicators of development currently has 94 indicators, and UNDP's Human Development Index has 253 human development indicators. These range from infant mortality rates to air quality through human rights to TV ownership and population per passenger car. The HDI also claims to be gender sensitive. It is hard to gauge the accuracy and relevance of new development indicators like the HDI, which the British newspaper The Daily Mail has described with typical tabloid precision as a happiness index. However, they are at least evidence of the wider recognition that a purely economic model of development is not sufficient, and that in reality the quality and scope of development are more complex than wealth creation and distribution. Dear students, now after defining the concept of development, let us learn what is regional development. As OECD considers, regional development is a broad term that can be seen as a general effort to reduce regional disparities by supporting through employment and wealth generating resources, social and economic activities in less developed regions. Although this concept started as merely an economical one towards the end of the 20th century, regional development became rather multidisciplinary in its approach, as law, political science, public policy, and sociology became critical disciplines alongside economics, focusing more on the notion of what a region might be and how a range of factors, not just economical ones, could shape the idea of region. Alongside these basic considerations, one should pay more attention to how these concepts could interfere with the specificities of the state and statehood, considering that new derived concepts of international law and international relations emerged with scope of erasing disparities between nations and peoples, creating the premises for both real value development and potential conflict management in international relations. Dear students, taking into consideration the possibility that every region has its own geographical, institutional, organizational, and above all, cultural characteristics which can be very different from other regions, a logical question should be asked: is it possible for a region to proceed with development utilizing strategies and techniques that other regions have successfully used in their development process? Without any deep and detailed analysis of successful regional development cases, though implementing their unique system of development directly into other regions can result in a waste of time, material, and human resources. Therefore, regional development is a process of not falling for the myth of technopolization, for the risk is wasting resources by building cathedrals in the desert. Every region has its own identity and unique characteristics which are part of bigger national culture. In this light, Todling and Triple argued that there is no single entrepreneurial regional policy which can be directly applied to other regions. Thus, regional development is a dynamic process in which we cannot simply make an imitation or copy of other successful regional development cases. Though it is possible to some minimum extent to make use of some successful regional development strategies from one region and apply those to another region that possess similar geographical, institutional, organizational and cultural features. However, a region can develop and make long-term progress utilizing only its unique cultural traits and endogenous local capacities. Dear students, what is the importance of regional development? Countries across the world have joined regional mechanisms due to either regional security vis-a-vis any perceived external military threats or human security and economic integration. South Asia is a case in point where many human security challenges such as poverty alleviation, food, energy and water security demand regional cooperation. Global and national institutions are well developed compared with regional organizations, but they have not been able to fully address the severity of some issues which have cross-border implications, such as climate change, natural disasters, environmental degradation, domestic conflicts, insurgencies, transnational crimes such as drug smuggling, human trafficking, etc. and so on. Regional forums are therefore seen suitable by all the countries for addressing common issues among member states through intra-regional policy reforms and actions and engaging in advocacy of mutual concerns at global forums. According to Rajan, regionalism the world over has been identified as the fastest route to prosperity for promoting collective interests, ensuring protection against the negative. However, collective development, both financial and human, is a key incentive in the growth of regionalism in the developing world. Dear students, from the above discussion, I am hopeful that you would have accustomed yourself with the basic understanding of development and its rationale at the regional level. Now, let us evaluate the role of SAARC in the regional development of South Asia. Human security challenges such as poverty, hunger, water scarcity, diseases such as HIV/AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis and hepatitis, natural disasters, environmental degradation, droughts and famine are not only common in the SAARC member states but also have profound implications for social and economic development. Human security has proved to be the greatest impediment to peace and development in South Asia, and states can only overcome this massive challenge by committing themselves to joint ventures to address common threats. Due to the transnational and interconnected nature of human security concerns, states in South Asia depend on each other to tackle these problems effectively. For instance, in 2008, a dam breaking in Nepal caused flooding of the Kosi River in Bihar, India. The landlocked states Afghanistan, Bhutan and Nepal depend not only on water and food from neighboring states but also on access to seaports. For India to sustain its current level of economic development and to grow further, it needs continued sources of energy, and for that it is reliant on its neighbors. Bhutan has been the biggest exporter of hydropower electricity to India, and New Delhi has shown interest in natural gas from Bangladesh and via Pakistan from Iran and Central Asia. Thus, the level of interdependence among the SAARC countries is on the rise. To external observers, SAARC is a feeble creation. This is because most of them have focused their analysis of SAARC predominantly on the pre-implementation phase of the regional project, that is, on consensus building. To make it clear, consensus building is an ongoing process, but initially from 1985 to 2004 and 5, the work of the body was limited only to agenda setting phase. However, as mentioned by Zayed Shahab Ahmad, the period after 2005 is labeled as the SAARC implementation phase, because the association has been able to realize some of its action plans. Dear students, let us analyze different action plans that have been implemented by SAARC to enhance regional development in South Asia. Number first, SAARC and human welfare. In this, cooperation under agriculture, rural development and food security would be analyzed. South Asia is home to around a quarter of the global population. Majority of whom live in rural areas and depend on agricultural and livestock resources. Recognizing both the inherent challenges and opportunities in agriculture, SAARC leaders have time and again underscored the importance of regional cooperation in agriculture, which is crucial to alleviating poverty, livelihood security, food and nutritional security, and promoting sustainable and inclusive growth of the economies in the region. The directives of SAARC leaders culminated in the adoption of the SAARC Agricultural Vision 2020, which shows the way forward for enhancing regional engagement in the field of agriculture for maximizing benefits from available options, enhancing ability to face new challenges and harnessing opportunities. According to 2014 statistics, South Asia is home of 1.749 billion people and 67% of them are living in the rural areas. Almost half of the workforce is employed in the agricultural sector. 42% of South Asia's landmass is under agricultural operation. Considering the facts and importance, the heads of state or government agreed at the 18th summit held at Kathmandu in November 2014 to increase investment, promote research and development, facilitate technical cooperation and apply innovative, appropriate and reliable technologies in the agricultural sector for enhancing productivity to ensure food and nutritional security in the region. They also underscored the importance of promoting sustainable agriculture. The recently held fourth meeting of the SAARC agricultural ministers in Thimphu on 27th June 2019 reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthen regional cooperation by promoting cooperation in agriculture and rural development for enhancing food, nutrition and livelihood security of the region. Under this, the SAARC Food Bank. The third SAARC summit held in Kathmandu in 1987 witnessed the signing of an agreement establishing the SAARC Food Security Reserve. The agreement, which came into force on 12 August 1988, provided for a reserve of food grains for meeting food emergencies in the member countries. However, the reserve could not be utilized due to a host of procedural and practical difficulties. Recently, in May 2020, to deal with the outbreak of the COVID-19 situation, Bhutan completed drawing on food grains from the SAARC Food Bank Reserve maintained by India. This is the first time the reserve of food grains maintained under the SAARC Food Bank Reserve has been utilized since its establishment, and completion of this first ever transaction led to the operationalization of the SAARC Food Bank. The SAARC Seed Bank. The SAARC Seed Bank Agreement was signed on 11 November 2011 during the 17th SAARC Summit held in Adu City in Maldives in November 2011, which also contained the framework for material transfer agreement. The agreement entered into force on 15 June 2016 upon issuance of a notification by the Secretary General of SAARC. SAARC Development Fund. The first and foremost objective of SAARC is to promote the welfare of the peoples of South Asia and to improve their quality of life. The sublime objective envisioned by our leaders can be achieved through meaningful cooperation among the member states, particularly through project-based collaboration which brings tangible benefits to the people in the region. Seen from this perspective, the establishment of the SAARC Development Fund in 2010 should be viewed as milestone accomplishment of SAARC in promoting project-based collaboration. SAARC Development Fund is the umbrella funding mechanism of SAARC which facilitates sub-regional and regional projects for amelioration of the quality of life of the people in the region. Within 10 years of its establishment under the social window of the SAARC Development Fund, a total of 54 projects have been successfully completed to benefit thousands of people in South Asia. During its 33rd meeting held virtually on 28 and 29 July 2020, the SDF board, among others, under the social window of SDF, has approved $7.7 million for the COVID-19 project, with 7 components for 7 member states, which originated from the respective health ministries of the 7 member states to support them in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. SAARC Agricultural Center. Following the endorsement at the 4th SAARC Summit held in Islamabad 1988, the SAARC Agricultural Information Center started its journey in 1989 as the first ever regional center under SAARC to establish network among relevant agricultural research and information agencies in SAARC member states and disseminate regionally generated technical information to strengthen agricultural research, development, and innovations. During 2016 to April 2019, around 55 time-bound and action-oriented need-based programs related to consultation, training, adaptive trial, germplasm, exchange, and meeting workshop were implemented by the SAARC Agriculture Center. SAARC and poverty alleviation. Under this area of cooperation, there are following mechanisms: ministerial meeting, senior officials meeting, intergovernmental expert group meeting. SAARC Minister on Poverty Alleviation have met 4 times and recommended several initiatives, including contextualizing of 2030 development agenda from regional perspective, funding of SAARC projects on poverty alleviation under social wing of SAARC Development Fund, such as SAARC Handicraft Development Center, SAARC Model Village, Renewable Energy Development and Livelihood Perspective in South Asia, Review of SAARC Plan of Action on Poverty Alleviation 2004, etc. SAARC and Economic Trade and Finance. SAARC is the platform to work together with a spirit of mutual trust, understanding and friendship. It focuses on the promotion of the process of economic as well as social development in the South Asian region. For accelerating the regional integration and quantum of intra-regional trade, a large number of trade agreements among the SAARC member countries have been entered into. In the series of such agreements, most important one is South Asian Preferential Trade Area, which is also known as SAPTA. SAPTA is also known as SAARC Preferential Trade Arrangement, which was signed in Dhaka during the 7th SAARC Summit on 11th of April 1993. It came into existence from December 7, 1995. The basic principles of SAPTA are as overall reciprocity and mutuality of advantages, step-by-step negotiation and extension of preferential trade arrangement in stages, inclusion of all types of products, raw, semi-processed and processed, special and favorable treatment to least developed countries. However, SAPTA does not yield the outcomes as expected. The SAARC Council of Ministers, which met in December 1995, reached an agreement to transform SAPTA into the South Asian Free Trade Area, SAFTA. The SAFTA came into effect from July 1st, 2006. In a historic point move, SAARC countries collectively choose to frame South Asian Free Trade Area. The SAFTA agreement's stated objective is to strengthen intra-SAARC economic cooperation to maximize the realization of the region's potential for trade and development of their people. The agreement calls for eliminating barriers to trade and facilitating the cross-border movement of goods between contracting states, promoting conditions for fair competition and establishing a framework for further regional cooperation. Dear students, let us have a look at the data of intra-regional trade among SAARC member states and India. This will enable us to understand the potential of the economies of South Asian region. The export figures as mentioned in the above table reveals that India's exports, which were rupees 38,82,302 crore in 2008 and 9 rose to rupees 1,77,25,537 crore in the year 2018 and 19. But during the year 2019-20, it experienced a fall of 12.49%. Percentage share, which was registered 4.6176, rose to 7.681% in the year 2018 and 19, which reduced to near about 7% in the year 2019 and 20. India's total exports rose 2.64 times, while exports to SAARC countries rose to 4 times during a period of 12 years. During the year 2015 and 16 and 2019 and 20, exports to SAARC countries showed negative growth. On an average, the growth rate in exports to SAARC countries has been registered at 36.36%. there is huge potential of India's exports to South Asian countries. The figures shown in the table reveals that imports from SAARC countries rose to 3.29 times during a period of 12 years. On the other hand, India's imports registered only 2.44 times during the same period. The growth rate in imports from SAARC countries on an average has been recorded at 29.11%. Only 3 years have shown negative growth, that is 2009 and 10, 2016 and 17, and 2019 and 20. As a whole, it may be put out that as a result of favorable conditions, the future prospects of intra-regional trade for the region are bright. Now let us come to apex and recognized bodies of SAARC. With a view of enriching and supplementing intergovernmental regional efforts in promoting socio-economic and cultural development in SAARC region, the association encourages interface and interaction across the region among professional bodies, private, corporate sector, civil society groups and creative artists. To further facilitate and acknowledge their work, the association grants formal recognition to these bodies under two specific categories, that is SAARC apex bodies and SAARC recognized bodies. There are 6 SAARC apex bodies and 18 SAARC recognized bodies. SAARC apex bodies. Number first, SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry encouraging trade, service, industry, small and medium enterprise, agriculture, intra-regional through creating strong business linkages amongst the entrepreneurs of the region of the SAARC. It has a permanent secretariat in Islamabad, Pakistan. SAARC Law. SAARC law consists of members of the legal profession from South Asia. Among its objectives are to bring together the legal communities of the region for closer cooperation and to develop law as a source and catalyst of social change for development. South Asian Federation of Accountants, also known as SAFA, S-A-F-A. SAFA was established in 1984 with the objective of developing a coordinated accountancy profession in the region. Another is South Asia Foundation, SAF, founded by UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador Madanjit Singh in year 2000. The South Asia Foundation is a secular, non-profit and non-political organization comprising 8 autonomous chapters in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. SAF's core objective is to promote regional cooperation through a number of UNESCO Madanjit Singh institutions of excellence in the 8 SAARC countries. SAF was recognized as an apex body in August 2006. Its headquarters is located in India. Foundation of SAARC Writers and Literature, also known as FOSWAL. FOSWAL has been working to foster people-to-people contacts in the region, especially amongst the writers and intellectuals of the SAARC region. FOSWAL has created a large fraternity of writers, poets, scholars, diplomats, academics and intellectuals through its varied initiatives. It has been promoting the ideals of SAARC, particularly in the areas of literature, art and culture and has contributed significantly to the greater objective of peace and prosperity in the SAARC region. Then is the last apex body, South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children. SAARC was formed after the 4th South Asia Forum for Ending Violence Against Children decided to create a new institutional framework for ending violence against children and recommended that SAF's name be changed to SAARC. It envisages an environment free from all forms of violence, abuse, exploitation, neglect, and discrimination for children, girls, and boys throughout South Asia. SAARC specialized bodies. SAARC has established new institutions such as SAARC Arbitration Council, South Asian University, SAARC Development Fund, Secretariat, and SAARC Regional Standards Organization, which have mandates and structures different from the regional centers. Dear students, from the above discussion, we can conclude that SAARC is making progress in the regional development of South Asia in the breadth of issues it addresses on its agenda. For example, the progress made in moving from agreements to the implementation phase, and particularly with regard to frequent interactions among the member states, has been generating much needed confidence. The various forms of progress are most evident in the less controversial areas of human security such as poverty alleviation, health and food security, and higher education. In addition, there has been a transformation in the attitudes of member states towards the association due to global, regional, and domestic dynamics faced by South Asia. Dear students, with this I am signing off from today's lecture. Hope you have understood it well. Thanks for watching it.